Got myself a squirrel. While I was out there checking my traps, I actually had a hunting opportunity with my throwing stick and got a lizard. So there's a lot of thoughts on camp life. If you're at your shelter, do you clean your game in the shelter or do you clean it away? Depends on the situation. I have been in my shelter and I have ate fish and other food and prepared it in my shelter. Most of those times I knew there weren't any huge wild predators in the area, so I didn't have a real big threat. If you know there's a bear, cougar, lions, whatever, big cats, wolves even hyenas are pretty nasty. If you have an animal like that if it smells the food, it's going to come into your area, you better play it safe than sorry. So I always like to have one area where I go, clean my game, prepare it for consumption, and I have a kitchen area where I'll go over there and actually cook the food and consume it right there, and have my shelter somewhere, most of the time it's about 300 meters apart. I make a triangle. Preparation for food, butchering area here, 300 meters that way. I will cook the food, and then where I'm sleeping is 300 meters back that way, and that way everything's within a triangle. So I recommend to you, better safe than sorry. Clean in one location, eat and cook in another, sleep in a different place. Now I've picked out my butchering area. It's a good 300 meters away from my shelter. Another 300 meters away from my cooking area. This is where I've designated I'm going to come here and properly prepare my game for consumption. Earlier I got that lizard. Now sometimes, that's not much of a meal, but sometimes it may be a lot of a meal. But since I had a squirrel in the trap, that was a good day today. So I'm going to use this lizard as bait for fishing and baiting other traps that I have. So I'm going to sacrifice the lizard to make it as bait. Thank you, little brother, for your sacrifice, because hopefully I'll be able to get more food using him as bait. And to my squirrel friend here, my little brother, thank you, brother, for your sacrifice so that I may live. I always give thanks to any creatures I take. I always pray and give thanks to the land to accept me into the land. So all the wood and anything I take to use for survival, I use every piece of it. So now I'm going to show you how to properly prepare this food, prepare these animals to consume for food. All right. So there's a lot of different ways with different animals and different ways to prepare them and skin them. And with small mammals like this, it's fairly pretty easy. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pinch the skin off and make a little bit of an incision. Once I've got a hole right here and I can get my fingers in, all you have to do is work your fingers in there. And the skin just peels right off. Now, sometimes you might want to save the hide or the fur to use it for other things, cordage, possibly clothing, but usually small mammals like this are just too small to do anything with. I'm going to try and save as much of the meat as possible for consumption. Now, one thing that folks will say is, well, what if they got rabies? Well, animals fully cooked, you don't have to worry about that. Just do not consume any of their bones, especially the spinal cord. But I've eaten a lot of squirrel in my time. Alright, gonna get this other arm free. Alright, now we just gotta work the legs. Trying to be very careful not to pop open the cavity where the guts are. Because if you pop the cavity open with the guts, that will spoil the meat. Alright, just about there. Alright, get that one off. That one off. There we go. There, you don't have much tail going on there. So pop that off there. And now that all this is free, now I'm going to take the head off. Okay. Now I need to get the guts out of it and clean the insides. So I'm going to start up here where the neck area is. Start working down the middle. Nice and gingerly. I do not want to cut open the stomach cavity. Alright. Once you open them up, you want to check all their organs to make sure there's nothing crazy going on. Everything looks healthy. This guy's very healthy looking. Alright, I'm going to keep cutting down here the middle. Making sure I'm careful not to break the stomach cavity open. Probably save a lot of this guts to use for bait. That way this animal is giving not just to me, but back to other creatures, and that I can possibly catch for further food. All that stuff peels down real easy once you get in there. And me, just my preference, I usually cut out the anus. Alright. Now, this is now my bait station as well, so I have bait here. With the lizard and the guts. And that's how you properly butcher a small game animal for consumption. Now I'm going to take it down to the water, wash it up, get it on a fire.